Cyrus, welcome back on today's podcast. Now, firstly, thank you so much for having me on your podcast yesterday. And we also had a session on the 17th of this month where we talked about your journey in Bitcoin space. We delved into Bitcoin and your investment strategies, and I'm sure our listeners will definitely like what you had to say in that. Now, in today's podcast, that is the Race Space podcast, we are shifting our gaze and exploring your journey into the fitness role. Because you are the CEO of Boxica, and you do have a phenomenal event coming up later on in the month of January that is called as the Crucible Athlete. So really excited to talk to you about that, man. Cyrus has an inspiring past and journey, and in the show notes, I'll go ahead and put a list of interviews he's done. And one of the reasons why I wanted to talk to Cyrus is because when I talk to CEOs from the Bitcoin, cryptocurrency, and blockchain space, as well as the race directors, I try to find out one commonality as to what is one thing that is common that is makes it for a successful CEO. So today's episode, we will take a deep dive into Cyrus's transformational journey from being a commando to a leading figure in the fitness industry. So thank you so much, Cyrus, for doing this. Really appreciate it, man.
You're welcome. More than welcome, George. Happy to be here.
And just wanted to check, how has your day been so far? Because we just briefly spoke for a few minutes that you woke up at 5 o'clock in the morning, isn't it?
Yeah, usually wake up around 5:30, and have a little morning routine that I do, and I actually have completed 10,000 steps already, according to my Garmin, because I took my dog Max for a walk in the desert,
Uh-huh.
and I had a unique breakfast today, actually, worth talking about. I ordered slow cooked beef brisket to my house,
Nice. Oh,
which
nice.
was amazing.
And this is exactly what I'm talking about because when I interview successful CEOs, Cyrus, from the Bitcoin space, the first thing they say is they wake up either at 4:30 or 5 o'clock. They go out and do the fitness routine. And after that is when they go out and start doing the business. So I do see some commonality already. Now,
Yeah.
Cyrus, you're from the fitness industry. Now, for our listeners who haven't heard much about you, can you give us a rundown as to what an average fitness day looks like for you? As in, what time do you wake up? You already said that. But what is
Yeah.
your fitness routine for a regular day or a week?
Well, my fitness routine evolves, you know, um, over time. It's been many different things, but right now it's going to the gym, my gym, and training around 7 a.m.
Hmm.
So by the time I wake up, get ready, write out my goals, meditate for a little bit, set the intention for the day, write out what I'm going to achieve that day, set my schedule,
Hmm.
and then train at 7 a.m. to around 8:30 a.m. That's warm up, weightlifting, resistance training, and then a stretch at the end, a 10, 15, 20-minute stretch, however much time I've got. And then it's, shower and free to work for the rest of the day without needing to do any more fitness. I do try and hit 10,000 steps a day. As an additional thing, I'll try and do calls as I'm walking. Some days I don't do 10,000 steps. It's not like a must for me. If I'm busy, I'll let myself off with it and just be busy and work instead. But generally, at most days, I'll do 10,000 steps.
That is absolutely brilliant. Now, for our listeners, Cyrus, could you share about your background, specifically what inspired your transition from serving as a commando to becoming an entrepreneur in the fitness industry?
Yeah, was I left home at 16 and I joined the Royal Marines Commandos. Spent 5 years serving, and when I left after 5 years, all my friends were going into the security industry, Iraq, Afghanistan. They were earning decent money at the time. It was around £10,000 a month was the salary. What's that like 50,000 dirhams? Back when I was this is like we're talking. I left at 21, so I'm 38 now. So back then, the pull to earn £10,000 a month was, we were earning £1,600 a month.
Yeah.
It was a large amount of money for the guys. So it was a big pull, and I had the same pull. I did all the courses that I needed to do in order to become a security operative, and I was working as a scaffolder, actually. I was the driver and the bitch basically for the scaffolders. I would get all the poles from the truck and I would pass it up to the scaffolders. So very physically demanding, labor intensive job, and I hated it. Um, After I finished traveling the world for about 4.5 years, which I afforded due to an accident that happened to me in Afghanistan, I got a payout that allowed me to travel for 4.5 years. Um, I was literally like, okay, do I go down the security route and earn 10 grand a month and go back to the desert and do that whole thing, or do I follow my passion, the thing that I'm really interested in making a career out of, and that's fitness. And so I was literally like, okay, security, fitness. And I decided to go with fitness because I thought, well, security is a lot better money now, and I'm sure for the next couple of years I will enjoy that money, and it'll be good, back with the guys in the military kind of environment that I was used to. But fitness was like, okay, I can see me doing this for life. Like it's a career for my whole life. I'm very passionate about it. It's not good money to start with, but I'm sure I can build it up over the years. So that was my mindset really into becoming a trainer rather
Mhm.
than going and doing what everyone else was doing.
You touched base upon passion, and yesterday, I told my family members that I'm interviewing Cyrus. And one thing which I want to find out is, is it his passion for fitness or is it something he's good at? And we were kind of having a healthy debate as to what career path should you choose. Should you choose something that you're passionate about or something that you're good at? And we'll definitely have a specific question regarding that. Now,
Yeah.
Cyrus, while I was researching for your interview, I did actually come up an interview that you had with Daniel Lassay, and I'll put it in the show notes below. It is really inspiring and it's no hold barred as well. And now, in one particular point, he did ask you a very specific question, and I really liked the answer. And I want to ask the same question once again to you, because I'm sure our listeners, particularly from the fitness space and in the personal life, will definitely be inspired by that. So, the question that he asked you was, do you think to be successful, you need to have some kind of trauma? And I really like the answer that you gave. And what is your thoughts for that particular question?
I can't remember what I said in his podcast, but I'll give you the honest answer now, not knowing what I said back then. I think it gives you an edge. I do not think, honestly, that you need to have some kind of issue in your background. There's plenty of people that have a normal family upbringing that, have love from both their parents, that don't get abused, that don't have any life-altering incident, and that just want to be successful and they achieve their dreams. And I don't think the universe is I'm trying to think of the word here. I want to say biased, but good people, bad people, people that had tough backgrounds, people that had easy backgrounds, assholes, whatever. The universe doesn't care. If you're
Yeah.
successful, you're successful. Like you figured out a way to make money or have a great family, whatever it is. I don't think having it. I think it does give you a slight edge in the sense that if you're not from money particularly, this is at least in my case, it's like you just have to do it. It's not there's no choice. You gotta make it work. You gotta figure something out because no one's gonna save you. Mommy and daddy are not gonna give you any money. So there's that kind of like, there's not like, oh, should I do this today? I don't feel like doing it today. It's like, nah, like there's no like question in my mind. Like I have to do this because I have to feed my family and I have to get it done. So a little bit of an edge there, but very, very long-winded answer. No, you don't need to come from a traumatic.
Yeah, I really definitely am liking that answer. And Cyrus, you've also had a near-death experience. If there is one piece of advice you'd like to give to anyone, be it, let's say, from the fitness space, from the Bitcoin investment space, or even general well-being, or even family life, what advice would that be?
Well, something I like to teach people that I learned almost dying. It was quite a unique experience. I mean, you know you're dying, you are dying, you're going, and through whatever reason, I didn't die. And on the verge of almost dying, you do have a life flashback or a realization about yourself. In my case, and it was that I was living my life not true to myself. I was scared of what other people would think about me. I was shy, unconfident. I wouldn't speak up, kind of like live true to myself. I was all like pushed down. I was this like compressed version of me. And I realized that during the experience. And I also realized that, oh, I'm actually going to die one day. Like it's going to happen. My body, who knows what happens to the spirit, but this this life that I know is going to end in a sense. Maybe it's going to move on to something else, but and the thoughts that I had when I was in that moment, I was literally like gonna die, was um I realized that, oh well, I was first of all, I was squeezing the hands of my friends so
Yeah,
tightly that they had to let go. I was kicking my legs, I was screaming, I was so angry because of this realization that I had. And I later on looking back, I was like, oh, well, I'm gonna die one day. And as I'm about to die, I'm also gonna know that I'm dying, because that's what I experienced on the desert. It was like, yep, this is it. We're dead. Um, and I don't want to die with those same feelings of anger and regret that I had when I was 21 lying on the desert floor. So if I could say something that would help other people, it's this, like, coming from someone that was literally dying, you are going to have a life flashback. And in that moment, when there's nothing except for pure truth, end, done, over. No hiding from that, no escaping it, no pushing any feelings. That it's like all ego drops, all perceptions of self drop. This is you. This was your life. Goodbye. In that moment, if you don't follow your heart's goals, dreams, desires, and live fully and true to yourself, you're going to feel what I felt. It's that pain and that regret. It's the worst feeling of my life. So, in short, figure out what kind of life you want, truly and honestly, no holding back. And then every day when you wake up, try and get a little bit closer to that. And then at the end of your life, when you look back, you'll say, you know what? I did my best. I lived true to myself, not because someone else told me how to live, not because I was scared of what other people would think of me, not because I didn't believe in myself, fully all out. Then at least you'll go knowing, like, okay, I did my job.
that is definitely fabulous advice. And knowing what you're saying, Sarah, so I can definitely vouch for it because a lot of your posts on Instagram, they're very positive. And, we talked about law of attraction. And even when you were talking earlier, you're talking about hinting towards law of attraction. So you've definitely taken it in an absolutely positive way.
Mm.
Now, were there moments during your military service that you feel directly shaped your approach to fitness or even entrepreneurship?
Uh, Funny story. People think because you were in the military that you have all this discipline. Excuse me. But quite the opposite is true. The
Uh-huh.
military is an environment, and you are with certain people in that kind of military mindset. So it's very easy to be disciplined or disciplined in the military. It's
Yeah,
just a daily routine. It's what everyone does. So you can't not be like everyone else. But when you leave the military, you are you're showing your actual true self-discipline, your habits, your actual inner kind of workings. And mine was, it was non-existent. I mean, everything unraveled when I left the military. You know, I wasn't a disciplined person, so I had to relearn it. And so it's just,
yeah,
realizing that anyone, whoever you are, whatever background you have, who, if whatever beliefs you have about discipline, I'm not disciplined, and you tell yourself all these stories, it's all nonsense. You can build self-discipline from just building habits. That's all it is. Any kind of discipline that you want. Nobody has discipline and motivation every single day. It's just a habit. You
yeah.
just build a habit. That's it. There's nothing special about certain people, and it's just a habit. You want to be successful, then build a habit of maybe working a bit more, or focusing on your goals, or seeking mentors and people that have achieved what you want to achieve. If you want to be more disciplined, go into the gym. Just fucking wake up and go to the gym, man. It's not difficult.
Yeah.
Like, do that consistently. You'll literally wake up and your body will go to the gym even without your mind being there. You'll just, it's a habit. You just do it.
Yeah, I'm really liking that you're merging discipline with habit and motivation. I do have a very specific question regarding that, but before that, let's touch base on passion versus what you're good at. Now, Cyrus, based on my experience, people spend a lifetime following the passion, but very few people they are good at what their passion is. Now, I want to find out in your case, have you identified that your passion is merging with what you're good at? This is keeping in mind that you're the CEO of Boxica and you do have an upcoming event coming up as well.
Yeah. In my scenario, I mean, I was good at fitness, like the
Hmm.
actual physical doing fitness, right? Running, pull-ups, push-ups, the actual
Yeah,
physical aspect of it. I was good at that. And so, yes, I have to say, yeah, it was something that I was good at. And so I tried to pursue it as a career. But being good at fitness and being successful in the fitness industry is two completely
exactly.
separate. It's nothing. Now, being a business owner, there are aspects of fitness that merge very tightly with every aspect of life. Being successful, running a business, being calm, patient, having mental clarity, feeling good, having the endorphins every day to be the best version of you, so you can go out into the world and crush it. But being good at push-ups has got, nothing to do with hiring and firing people, right? Or motivating
Exactly.
people. So I honestly, Mike, and back to the question you asked at the beginning as well. Look, that was my journey, but I also think people can be successful and not really be that passionate about what they do. Like, maybe they're passionate about just making money, and maybe they found a way of selling aluminium parts to an engine, and they're a salesperson, and they make $1 million a month doing that globally, and
Yeah.
they don't care about the aluminium. They get the $1 million a month. They're doing sales. They enjoy that.
I really am liking this answer because you could be passionate about something. And oh, last session we talked about George St. Pierre. I'm not sure if you know that he absolutely hates fighting. He does not
Yeah,
like fighting at all. His passion
yeah,
is for training. Yeah.
yeah,
And
yeah, yeah, yeah. He hates it.
and
Yeah.
another goat is Habib Nurmagomedov. He absolutely hates fighting. His passion is football, but he's not good at football. He's tried to play at a couple of clubs, but he could not get a breakthrough in that. Now, as the CEO of Boxica, you built a successful fitness brand in the UAE. What motivated you to start establishing? I really like the name Boxica as well. What is the reasoning to have that name Boxica? I'm pretty much sure it has to do with boxing, isn't it?
Yeah, there's nothing special about that. We just branding expert come up with a load of different names, and we liked the Boxica. And it actually worked out well because we morphed into a business that doesn't just do boxing, but it has the boxing in there, but it's like Boxica. We do a lot of other things as well. So it turned out good.
And Boxica is a fitness community that's open to everyone. And on the Instagram page of Boxica, Cyrus, and I think you shared this via LinkedIn as well, you said that there are too many people who say, I'll get fit before I go to the gym. And
Yeah,
I
man.
know quite a lot of people, even some of my family members, they are a bit
Yeah,
hesitant to take the first step. Now,
yeah,
you being a champion in the fitness industry, what message do you have for those people?
yeah. Well, yeah. Look, Boxica was created for those people. We try to break down those walls. It's because I've been in the fitness industry now 16, 17 years, and when I'm calling people, and I was a PT and doing sales and stuff and opening my first business, calling leads, and people were intimidated to come. And I realized other studios from around the world that when I did my research, they were intimidating. I felt intimidated going into them. So my goal was to break that down and to have like a second home for people that felt comfortable coming to train. And there's a lot of different aspects of Boxica that made sure we do that, from the staff to the trainers to the dark lights in the room, to the the ethos. the community that we've built up, the mindset of everyone. It's like we're for everyone. If it doesn't matter if you're tall, short, fat, thin, you haven't trained any at all throughout your life, or
Hmm.
you're a seasoned athlete, come and do a class with us. You can, everyone can do it. Take the example of having someone that's very unfit, and myself, we can do the same workout. We can feel exactly the same. And people are like, well, how is that? Well, it's just the unfit person will do 2 push-ups and I'll do 10 push-ups. We go through the same movements, the same exercises. I might do an advanced version of it. They might do a scaled version of it, but we will finish feeling exactly the same. And it's just that I did more reps and they did slightly less reps, but they got the same benefits from it. So that's Boxica's philosophy. That's what we try to build. And it is a big problem because gyms are created to get people in shape. And so if you had a big water leak in your house,
Hmm.
you call the plumber to come and fix that leak. Or if you had an electrical problem, you probably wouldn't pull out your screwdriver and start getting in the electric box, poking around with the dangerous wires. You call an electrician to come and sort it out for you. Well, to get fit, you go and see a trainer, you go to a gym. So why do people hesitate to do that? Well, they are worried about what other people will think about them when they walk into the gym out of shape. They don't want to be the unfittest person there, and they care too much about what other people think about them, basically. And so that I think that is ultimately the root cause of the problem. But there is places out there like Boxica, where we welcome you with open arms and we make that transition into fitness easy for you. And if there's anyone out there that is out, most of your listeners are probably already fit and in shape. But if you know someone that's out of shape, or if you are currently looking to get into shape, Boxica, come and give Boxica a go, give it a try. I think you'll be pleasantly surprised.
Absolutely. In the show notes, I'll definitely go ahead and mention it. Now, Cyrus, I've noticed one thing, particularly in Dubai, there's a lot of trends. A few years ago, there was a lot of hype regarding obstacle course race, and I definitely follow OCR events quite a lot. Right now, there's a trend regarding hybrid events. So you have High Rocks, you have Spartan Deca series, which is going to start in 2025. Now,
Yeah.
how do you ensure that Boxica adapts to these trends while at the same time maintaining its core values as well?
Yes, absolutely. That's a thing. And we're actually currently trying to negotiate a piece of the building with the landlord so we can convert it into a high rocks area.
Oh,
And
excellent.
actually, yeah, and actually do high rocks class. It's a massive area that we want to convert and buy all the equipment and do high rocks class. I think high rocks is cool. I think it's fun. I did a high rocks with some friends. Nice, simple movements. When I first got into fitness, CrossFit was the trend, and I
Hmm.
kind of rode that trend up, competing in CrossFit and opening my first fitness business, which was the CrossFit gym. And then um, you have got to move with the times a bit if you have a business. You know, if everyone likes the color purple and you're just offering the color black, and you know, black's not in popularity anymore. Everyone wants the purple. You got to move. You got to be flexible a bit. You got to move a little bit with it. What the people want to do. And right now, High Rocks
Yeah.
is the main kind of sweeping the world with popularity. And I think it'll be here for a while. I don't see High Rocks going anywhere over the next 5, 6, 7 years. I think it's going to peak out, and then, like anything, the popularity will slowly come down. Our core business is strength and conditioning and boxing, cycling, and lifting weights has been around for a very long time, and it's extremely effective. And every single high-level athlete in the world, regardless of the sport, does some form of resistance training. It's not going
Hmm.
anywhere. Boxing's been around for God knows how many hundreds of years.
Yeah.
That's not going anywhere. People like to ride bikes. That's not going anywhere. We've got a core fundamental offerings at Boxica, and then with our, let's say, 20%, we can switch around and move with what people want to do in the moment.
That's absolutely brilliant. Now, one unfortunate trend, or Cyrus, which I'm noticing is that is particularly to do with women. They are taking this pill called as Ozempic. I'm not
Yes.
sure if you've seen that trend. And one of
Yep.
my female friends, she was a trainer, she literally burst down into tears because 10 of her students, 9 of them were having Ozempic and she didn't even know. What do you
Yeah.
think about Ozempic? I mean, people opting for an
Yeah.
easier route, so to speak.
Yeah. Yeah. It's a great question, and I'm not on either side of the fence with it, to be honest. I mean, if you struggle to lose weight your whole life through whatever reason, it doesn't matter. You're lazy, you like to eat food, whatever, and this thing can help you break those habits, and it can actually show you what it feels like to be, you know, a little bit in shape, and it can start that journey for you. Take it. Good on you. Um, you know, I've got no real, like, I don't sit on the fence. Fundamentally, I
Mhm.
think that I don't think I know nutrition, training, sleep, low stress environment is going to be the best thing for you. But if you need to take an injection to get yourself going, and uh, go for it. Yeah, go at it. No, I'm not judging.
That's definitely interesting advice as well. Now, from a business point of view in the fitness industry, Cyrus, you have a YouTube channel, and I saw one video where you talked about the pillars, and you talked about research, relationship, location, team, customer focus, and ownership, where you
Yeah,
mentioned these 6 or 7 points. Can you just give
yeah,
us a quick rundown of these pillars, and what can aspiring businesses in the fitness industries learn from that?
yeah. Well, look, a lot of people approach me. They want to open up a business, so they ask me for advice, like mentorship and stuff like that. Um, if you're looking to set up a fitness business, a physical location kind of facility, your biggest, the thing that you should spend the most time in the early days when you're going about doing your planning and looking is location. Location, location, location. Nothing
Yeah,
works in a fitness location based business if you get the location wrong. Nothing works. You have the best prices, the best equipment, the best coaches, the best customer service, the best, the best, the best, the best, the best. But you are inconveniently located for people. You are not going to succeed. Your business is going to close down, right? So it's like before you do anything, you hit the location. Online businesses, whatever, that doesn't matter. But for an actual location where people have to drive to in their normal daily routine, and I heard something from a guy called Charles Poliquin many, many years ago, where he was like, draw a 15-minute radius around your location and imagine only the people that live within a 15-minute radius during rush hour are going to come to your location, and be like deadly strict with that initial first bit of research that you do. So you found a location, great. 15-minute drive during rush hour, actually get in a car and do it. These are your clients. Now, in that area, are you going to capture the amount of people you need in
yeah.
order to succeed with that business? That would be my first bit of advice. And then secondly, I'll touch on one more, not to bore the listeners too much, but when I'm hiring a coach, their actual technique in coaching is the last thing that I look at.
Mm,
I sit down with the person, and I first thing I think is, do I want to spend time with this person? If it's not a work, if do I actually like being in this person's presence? Do they have good energy? Do they care? Or do they have integrity? Are they an honest person? If I'm yes on all those things, you can teach someone how to coach a squat, or you can learn it over time and experience. But if they're an asshole, I mean, you can't really
yeah.
train them not to be an asshole. You know. So you need to build a team of people that are good. They have good energy. They're good with people. They're good communicators. And if they do make a mistake with coaching, it's that people are going to be like, well, you know what? They're a really good person. I'm sure they want to improve. They will get better. But if you're the best coach in the world, but you're an asshole, nobody likes you. Nobody wants to spend time with you. No one wants to be around you.
Yeah, that's brilliant advice. And you touch base about everything being accessible to 15 minutes. Larry Fink, something which we talked about from BlackRock, he usually writes a letter to all the CEOs of the world. And he talked about how the world should be heading towards deglobalization. So when we were growing up, we were talking about globalization, but the next agenda is deglobalization. And a part of that is to build 15-minute cities. So probably in the next coming decades, the entire world will have everything accessible in 15 minutes. So what you
Wow.
talked about location does make a lot of sense. And even the
Wow.
line in Saudi Arabia, they're working on something similar, planning
Wow, it's
something
crazy.
similar. Now going
Yeah.
back to fitness, Cyrus, physical fitness isn't just a priority for you; it is a lifestyle. So how do
Mm.
you maintain a fitness regime and your business entrepreneurial responsibilities? Now you touch base upon meditation. Can you share with our listeners what kind of meditation that you do in particular?
Well, first of all, the fitness is a priority. It's a non-negotiable, scheduled priority in the like it's in the schedule for the hour and a half on the days that you plan to train in order to optimize your wellness, your mental health, your physical health, to look and feel at your best so that you can perform at your best for your job, your family, whatever else. It's just having the mindset of that this is an absolute priority. This is number one priority for me. And that's why a lot of CEOs, as you said, do it first thing in the morning. It's convenient. It's set. They're doing it for themselves. They're working on themselves first thing, and then they're going about in the day giving as much as they need to give as that better version of themselves. You've had it yourself, George, when you wake up and you don't train and you maybe feel a bit sluggish and you're not quite firing and maybe your thoughts are a little bit more negative than positive, and then you do you do a workout and you're like, oh my God, I feel amazing. So
Yeah.
you're setting yourself up for the day with the workout. And that's my mindset around fitness. And that's what I preach to my clients as well. Like, get it done in the morning. And then, but working out in the evening is also fine if you can only do it in the evening, but it's just maximizing the benefits of training in terms of the mental aspects. You're better off doing it before you go to work and give
Yeah.
yourself to the world rather than, wake up, go to work. But some people prefer training in the evening, like get out their stress at the end of the day, clear their mind for the next day. It's also fine. I just prefer mornings. And then the meditation routine, what I actually do, I've played around with different types of meditation. What I actually do is I'll just tell you my full morning routine because it's a part of it. I wake up, go to the bathroom, brush my teeth, shower, do all the stuff I need to do. Come down, I drink a large uh, half a liter, half a liter or about a liter. It's a large shaker, protein shaker cup full of water with electrolytes and creatine. I bang that in, and I come to the office. I write out a whole page of my notebook. So one of these pages, one side of my ideal life that I want to live. And I start with, I am so happy and grateful now that, and I get into now that I am, that's Bob Proctor, Bob Proctor 101.
Excellent guy.
Uh,
Yeah.
yeah, super guy. RIP. Then I write out my ideal life, and it goes from the finances to the freedom, down to the cars I drive, the hotels I stay in, the countries that I visit, how many kids I've got, how much time I spend with them a day, my fitness, my exact weight and body fat percentage, and how I look, and it's all written out on one page. And I've got my vision board right in front of me. I'm going to show you. It's right there. My vision board. Okay, can you see that?
Yeah, it's an absolute beast. I mean,
You might recognize
I
that bit
really am
in the
liking the
corner
the
over
Bitcoin thing as well. Yeah,
there.
I
So
absolutely love that. This is all touches based on law of attraction thing, isn't it?
absolutely. And so after I've done that, it takes like maybe 5 minutes to write out my goals. I'll sit down on the couch
Yeah.
here in front of that vision board. I'll stick on some binaural beats with these earphones, and I'll put a 20
Nice.
minute timer on. 20 minutes,
Yeah.
spend the first few minutes just breathing and clearing my mind. And I visualize that stuff on the board. I'll open my eyes, I'll look at it, I'll go in and I'll visualize it. And I just spend 20 minutes just living and feeling that you just saw on the wall, to kind of like get me in the right mindset for the day, aligning with what I'm going to do that day with, okay, this is what I'm going for. So what I do today must be it must be going in that direction. And then I'll set my calendar for the day. I'll say, okay, this is what I need to do today. One, two, three. And I will touch on one more thing, something that I'm working on personally, is that for 2025, my ultimate one of my goals is to actually do less, but be more intentional about what I do. I'm just an action taker. I wake up, I go into the day, action, action, action. But a lot of the time, you're just reacting to other stuff that's going on. And I would honestly had this conversation with someone recently. I'd probably say about 40 to 30 to 40% of my working hours for 2024 was just nonsense,
Yeah,
reactivity, not being intentional. So my goal, one of my main goals for 2025, and I hope your listeners have written down their goals for 2025, is to be more intentional, actually do less work, but be like pinpoint accuracy with what I do. So yeah, having that time in the morning just to like go through my schedule and be like, right, what's going to move the needle here? Where can I add the most value to my business and my life? And then the last thing that I'll finish with is a quote from Naval. Do you know Naval
yeah,
Ravikant, the
yep.
famous? Yeah, he was like, "You need to spend your time," and I got this quote earlier in the year. You need to spend your time earning, learning, or resting. And if you want to become wealthy, you outsource everything else.
That's definitely brilliant advice. And what I really am liking is, Cyrus, you mentioned about I am thankful and grateful. Just the word
I
I
am.
am, rather
Wow.
than
I am.
yeah, exactly. Rather
I
than
am.
saying I want to, it make changes everything,
Dude,
isn't it?
these are the probably the most powerful words in the entire
Yeah,
world. I am. I
yeah,
am. There you go. That you don't need anything else. If you tell yourself,
yeah,
I am,
absolutely.
whatever you tell yourself. I sat down with a potential client yesterday, and she said, "I am not disciplined." And I said, "Oh, you got to be careful with that. With that, I am." And then she said, "It's very hard to find a guy
Exactly.
in
Yeah,
Dubai. The guys are not good here in Dubai." I said, "Oh, you got to be careful about what you wish for. You're saying a lot of stuff here. You're saying it as matter of fact." So you're going
yeah.
to see what you're telling yourself as fact. You need to be careful with these things.
And I'll share with you an interview of one of the UFC fighters called as Ilya Tapira. So when the interviewer asked him, when you win, or rather, what he asked something on the lines of, when you win, he said, no, rephrase this question and ask me after I win what I'm going to say
Mm,
at the interview. And he wasn't
mm.
even the champion then. And he changed his UFC Instagram profile to UFC champion. And people are laughing, but he did actually become the
He
champion.
did it.
So he
Wow.
talks everything about law of attraction as well. So really, really am liking this. Now, the next few
100%.
questions, Cyrus, I have is more to do with your individual fitness. Because look, you're an absolute beast. And I saw you yesterday, you have like 6 or 8 packs. So I wanted to ask in terms of, your fitness regime, Cyrus, how do you identify peak performance? Are there specific metrics or sign you look at in order to determine that you're physically and mentally at your peak?
Yeah, well, first thing is feeling good, being injury free, being able to function for my son, run around with him. Um, you go through. You need to. I think ultimately the answer to this question is being in tune with your body is key, right? It's
Mhm.
no good. You read something online or you get some advice. And you're like, oh, that's good. I want to try it. Does it work for you or doesn't it work for you? Is your body telling you yes or no? A lot of people, they hear something, they go with it, they get like stuck down this one route. It's like, no, you need to be flexible with it. We're all individuals. We all respond to different types of fitness, nutrition. One thing works for another, doesn't work for someone else. Um, Andrew Tate eats one meal a day at 7 p.m. and he smokes and drinks black
Yeah,
coffee all day, and then he has that one meal at 7 p.m. Some people wake up, they have a breakfast, and they consistently eat small meals throughout the day. Some people eat 3 meals a day. Some people eat 2 meals a day. Some people eat 5, 6, 7 meals a day. Hey, they all work. There's no right or wrong kind of method. It's just being in tune with your body. And I've done a lot of fasting. I've done a vegan. I've done high protein, low protein, high carbs, low carbs. I've gone keto. I've done carnivore. I mean, I've been in the industry a long time. I've tried a lot of different things. Calorie counting is something that probably works best for me, where I just kind of like I like freedom. I tend to eat the same shit every day, but I like to have the freedom. If I want to meet someone and go and eat something, I want to go to a restaurant, I want to be able to just put it in my app and not worry that I'm going to get fat or if I'm going
yeah,
to go over it. So, listening to your body and figuring out what works best for you, I think is the best answer for
yeah.
that question. Yeah.
And the next this question also kind of touches base on that, because one of the biggest challenges, which I've noticed, particularly with, top tier athletes, is overtraining. Are there
Yeah.
any telltale signs you look at, to say that you're overtraining and you need to maybe slow down at particular
Yeah.
point of time?
Yeah. yeah. A lot of coaches are like, there's no such thing as overtraining, and they, uh, but it is actually a thing. I see where both sides are coming from, right? It's like most people don't overtrain and they tell themselves they're overtraining so they can just have more rest because they're lazy. That's not right. But also, people do train too much and they do
Yeah,
need to rest. And I've been on both sides of personally, I've felt undertraining and I've felt overtraining. A telltale sign that you are overtraining, and the first it's when you go to do your workout and your mind's like, you know,
yeah,
gotta do this workout. Like, I love training. I love how it makes me feel. I love going to the gym. It's like the time
yeah,
of the day where lifting weights, not focusing on other things. Love it. Um, so you don't need to motivate me to go and train. Like, I'm ready to train. I love training. But for that type of person that's driven and likes training, you likely, because you love it so much, it's likely that you've overtrained, you're overtraining, or you need to focus on overtraining. You need to be aware of it. But the people that fucking hate exercise and they just do it because they need to do it, and overtrain. If you train in 2 3 days a week, and you don't feel too tired and your body's recovering properly, yeah, you're not overtraining.
yeah,
You need to push it. You need to push it a little bit more. So it depends on the individual. Again, it depends who they are. Also, with training, I will say, like, I've trained a lot of high stress individuals. Um, that could play a part as well. Like, so if they're in a high demanding job lifestyle, adding extra training, more training on top of that already stressful human is counterproductive as well. They go directly into overtraining. So it's individual. Again, it's most things I've
yeah.
told you today is more like individual based, but it is the truth.
Yeah, I think understanding and listening to your body is so critical, isn't it? So I totally agree to that. Now let's talk about the Crucible Athlete. As the director, can you tell our listeners what inspired you for the creation of the event? What was the brainstorming session done? And what did your fellow business partners and other people think about it at the initial stage?
Yeah, I would love to take credit for the idea, but nope, that was not to me. That was, yeah, but my partner who um, kind of remains behind the scenes in the Crucible and is not actively involved in the kind of face-to-face kind of stuff. But it was his idea. The exercises are chosen by him. He's been actively involved in the fitness industry for a very long time. He's owned competitions, fairly globally large competitions before, and very experienced in all things fitness competition wise. And so him as my mentor and guidance, I'm basically the implementer, right? I'm the director.
Mhm.
I do all the hiring, all the organizing, with his vision and his outline for the competition. And so, don't get me wrong, I do get involved, obviously, give my opinion on certain things, and I have some kind of an input, but the brainchild and the idea is definitely his. And yeah, it's just bring something to the world that's not been done before. There's a lot of
Yeah,
CrossFit competitions out there. There's a lot of competitions that are biased for certain athletes, like strength or endurance or body weight. And so it's a mix of all things. Or if you want to go down the CrossFit route, they say that we find the fittest. Well, in CrossFit you have to be skill based as well. You have to climb ropes and skip triple unders and walk on your hands and do muscle ups on rings and do snatches, which are
yeah,
highly technical, highly skill based movements. We wanted to create something that was just pure test of athletic output. You don't need to practice walking on your hands or skills of balance. We just want, what's your output? So the first competition we did was deadlifts, dips, and a run. Wow. Deadlifts is like almost full body strength. Dips is upper body push, and a run, your cardio. So it's a perfect mix of like weightlifting
yeah,
strength, body weight reps, and then a run. This time we're going with squats with a barbell, front squats. We're going with weighted pull-ups, right? Body weight. We're doing a run. We're doing shoulder press, and we're doing a bike erg. All single modality movements, all strict, all even for everyone. And There's no skills involved. So that's really where we're coming in with like, what can the athletes actually do? What's their performance? Not worrying about skill. And another thing we kept in mind is that the movements need to be something everyone can do. It doesn't matter what sporting background you are from, you can do these basic foundational movements. Excuse me.
And what I liked is, on the Crucible Athlete Instagram profile, you've given a breakdown as to what counts as a rep and what does not count as a rep. And I'm hoping sure that, the referees and the judges, they definitely are quite
Yeah,
stringent with that. Now,
that's a good. That's actually a very good point, because a lot of competitions in the UAE don't actually pay their judges. They just have them as volunteers, so no one really takes it too seriously. A lot of competitions, big competitions, don't train their judges. They just hire coaches and just think that, oh, they'll be able to do the job. We have a group of judges that have been that we know from the UAE. Or I've been here 12 years. My head judges have been here longer than me. People we know that have judged before, that are good judges, but we also pay them well, and we also do 2 full days of training on the specific movements before
excellent.
the competition. We do it also a nighttime training the night before, just to make sure everyone's clicking. And then each judging team has a senior judge watching them, an assistant head judge watching them, and then the head judge, all the time having a camera crew specifically there to record for playback.
Yeah,
It's like, I'm not saying it's going to be perfect. It's not. The movements are tough. They're strict. It's impossible to have a competition like this and have perfect judging. It's impossible. But we're doing everything we humanly possibly can to make sure it's a fair playing ground for everyone. Given the amount of prize money that's going up, 445,000 dirhams is up for grabs. Top prize 100K for men, 100K for women. So it's a lot. There's a lot on the line. These guys are taking it seriously, and we are taking it very seriously.
yeah, I really am liking this answer. And I know because a lot of the Spartan pro athletes, Cyrus, one of the reasons why they've stopped doing Spartan races because of the judges. They don't like the
Mm.
fact that the referees and the judges aren't too serious. I'm pretty much sure a lot of the pro athletes in Dubai, they would definitely like to hear what you're saying. And what I'll do is,
Yeah.
this part, I'll go ahead and share to the race directors from Spartan Race as well. Now, what
Mm.
from arranging this event, Cyrus, what are some of the key highlights or challenges that the athletes will be facing during the competition? Because if I'm not mistaken, they start at 7 a.m. in the morning till 7 p.m., isn't it?
No, actually, the workout's 40 minutes.
Okay.
And so that's another great thing about our competition. A lot of other competitions, you have to spend all day or multiple days at the location. You're taking a large part out of your schedule on the weekend to compete. This is show up, warm up, do your 40-minute workout, go home. It's we're open 7 to 7, but you'll have your slot. For example, if your slot is 8 a.m., you
Hmm.
come in with enough time to warm up before your slot. You start at 8 sharp on the second.
Got
At
it.
8:40 sharp, you're done.
Yeah.
Goodbye. Go home. If you're top 20, come back in the evening and get your check.
Excellent.
Easy.
Excellent. Yeah. Now, Cyrus, I'm using a lot of AI these days. So what I did, the workouts that you have, I put it on ChatGPT 4.0. Lately, I'm using Grok, which is by XAI, and I also put it in Gemini. And I asked a very specific question, and this is more catered to top tier athletes and pro athletes. So the question what I asked is that out of these workouts, what is one workout athletes should be focusing on? But before I tell you what AI said, I want to get your response. Out of these workouts, which one workout do you think pro athletes should be focusing on? And I want to check if your answer actually merges with what AI has in store for us.
Yeah. So what should they be working on in order to do well in the competition? Is that the
Yeah,
question?
yeah.
Yeah. Um,
Which workout, to be precise, from the 7 that you have?
yeah. You can't focus on one workout only.
Hmm.
The athlete that will win this, the 100,000, they might not win any particular workout. Right? If
Yeah.
the way the points work is, if there's 100 people competing, in the men's category, the guy that gets first place on a exercise will get 1 point, and second place will get 2 points. And it's like that for the 5 workouts. And then the guy with the least amount of points at the end wins. So
Yeah.
you need to be consistently good at everything in order to get a. You're not, probably not going to win a particular event. If you're that good at a squat, then
Yeah.
your running and your pull-ups and your bike and your shoulders might not be that strong. So if you win the squats but you do shit at the rest of the 4, you ain't winning, right? You've got to be consistently good at all of them. So there isn't an exercise that you should focus on. You got to do bike, you got to do
Yeah.
shoulders, you got to do squats, you got to do running, you got to do pull-ups. But to note one more thing is the tiebreaker of the event. The event that if you evenly score with someone, we're going to look at the distance on the bike to
Oh,
differentiate those scores. So you don't neglect the bike. Don't neglect anything. But
yeah.
if you're a good athlete, if you're at the top, make sure you're paying particular attention to the bike, because that's where you're gonna, beat someone that you might have drawn with.
Let me
What
say,
did
tell you
AI
what,
say?
AI actually said shuttle run. And the reason why they said shuttle run, and this is all three of them said the same thing. They talked about it being famous for cardiovascular endurance and aerobic power, leg strength, and recovery. And it has given a reason as to why shuttle run is important. Now, the reason why I put this in AI is because I do a lot of Spartan Deca events, and they did a study. And what they found out is, in the ski rig, after doing the ski rig is when the performance actually drops down. And they did a test run where they had there are 10 zones in Spartan Deca events. So they put the ski rig at the first zone, second zone, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh, eighth, ninth, and that's how they found out that the key differentiation was actually the ski rig, which was a bit completely different, and at least performance does actually slow down. So if they actually put ski rig at the last, there is a very high possibility that the numbers could drastically change as well. And that I can introduce you to
Interesting.
the guy who has done that test as well. Now,
Interesting.
yeah, regarding the Crucible Athlete, Cyrus, as a director, what message do you have for the athletes competing at the event?
That this event is made for the athletes.
Hmm.
It's not necessarily a an event that you would come to watch, although we are expecting some people to come. It's not a circus. It's not a show. It's not a fun weekend. Come and camp out, and it's a serious competition to find out who is the best. And so I'd say to any athlete coming, look, we've built this for you. The whole layout, the whole way you check in, and the whole flow of the room and everything is for you, the
Yeah,
athletes. Communication before the event is going to be spot on. You'll know exactly your time, when to arrive, the parking, everything is for you. It's not a show, it's not a circus. So, yeah, if you've already competed, if you're already signed up and you're coming to try the Crucible, you shouldn't have any worries about anything. You're going to be judged fairly. You're going to have a great time. It's 40 minutes. Come, work out, and go. Good luck. If you are on the fence and you're like, oh, maybe I try something, come and try it. We are trying to find the ultimate athlete, the best of the best. The top 20 is going to get prize money, but the movement that anyone can come and do it. One of my clients is 51 years old, and he said to me, "Oh, I want to come and like help out, and can I come and just hang out?" And I was like, "Why don't you do it, man?" And he's like, "No, I can't do it." I'm like, "Yes, you can." It's like you can do the minimum requirement for each exercise in order to complete it is very little. Like you can do everything. Just come and have a go. So if you're on the fence about it, maybe you're a bit nervous or scared. I would say come and do it. It's just basic movements you can do, and it's going to be fun as well to watch some of the big boys, jump in and smash some big scores.
absolutely. Yeah, I was looking at some of the guys who participated in the first event, and a lot of them are absolute beasts, to be honest. Now, we are
Some big
towards
hitters
the end
coming,
of
yeah.
this episode, Cyrus. Now, reflecting on your journey from life-threatening injury to becoming a leader in the fitness industry, what lessons have you learned about resilience and personal growth? And after that, I just have two other questions as well.
Resilience, for me, is just the ability. I don't know if it means that. It probably doesn't mean this, and everyone has different meaning of interpretations of the word, but resilience for me is the ability to stay consistent on the path to achieving whatever you want, but until it's achieved. And I think a big issue people have is they get a good idea, they start something, but then they don't follow it through. They give up too early. Resilience for me is about doing the things you need to do, not when you feel like doing it, but when you don't feel like doing it,
Yeah.
and staying focused on target until it's actually achieved, whatever it is. Okay, so yeah, you don't need a military background, or you don't need to be an entrepreneur, or you don't need to have anything to do that. It's just staying consistent. It's just implementing anything that will help you stay consistent. So I've already showed you my notebook. I've showed you my
Yeah.
vision board. I've got the same vision board on my phone. I've got a card that I carry around here. Right? I've got a card that I carry around that's
Excellent. Yeah. Yeah.
laminated, that's in my pocket with a goal on it. So it just reminds me, like, hey, this is it. This is it. It's just surround yourself with things that are going to remind you why you're living your life, why you're going to work, and that implementing that, and anything that's going to help you stay consistent is going to be a win for me. And it's one of the reasons why I say, look, it's all individual. It's diet, training, what you do to get motivated,
Yeah.
whether it's meditating or writing. There's just a million things you can do. If it helps you stay consistent, then hey, go for it.
And just two last questions, Cyrus, before I let you go. And this is something which you touch base regarding discipline and motivation. Now, you've clearly said, how habit merges with discipline and motivation, but how do you handle when things don't go your way? And if you're not motivated, how do you personally handle that situation?
Yeah, it happens to everyone, me
Yeah.
included, just like everyone else. You go through periods, right, of feeling really motivated, and periods where you get up and you don't even want to go to work. You don't want to go to gym, but ultimately, it's what you said. It's building a habit. Your life is something. Atomic Habits. James Clear said, where it's like you you won't your life won't go to the level of your goals. It will default back to the level of your systems, meaning habits. I'm butchering this quote, by the way, but it's basically like you're not going to rise to the level of your goals and your wants. You're going to fall to the level of your systems and your habits. So that your systems and your habits are the foundation, and so that would be my advice for people. And by the way, everything I'm telling you and advising other people, I'm talking to myself as well, right? I'm like reinforcing it with myself.
That's absolutely great. And whatever you're saying it to other people, you're implementing it yourself. Now, one final question, Cyrus. What is one piece of advice you wish someone had given it to you when you were starting off in your fitness journey or your entrepreneurial journey?
Yes. My advice to myself, let's say at 21 years old or 22 years old, would be set bigger goals. You can do more, you can do better than this. For a long period of time, I set small goals for myself, not believing in myself, not having self-confidence. And now obviously almost 40 years old, a little bit wiser and in tune with my ability. And I think you can achieve anything you want if you set your mind to it and you stay consistent. So set bigger goals would be the first thing. And the second thing would be patient. Like
Yeah.
don't rush. Don't rush. Take your time. Enjoy the journey. It's a long one.
Yeah, and I really like, the Instagram post that you put out as well. So thank you so much, Cyrus, for doing this. Really, really appreciate it. And for our listeners, do check out the Crucible Athlete. It is taking place on the 25th of January, 2025 at the Adnex Center, the same location where they had the Bitcoin Mina event as well. So thank you so much,
Yeah.
Cyrus, for doing this. Appreciate it. Yeah.
No, thanks. Thanks, George. Always a pleasure.
Thank